All right, guys, welcome back to the CrossFit RIfe podcast. We talk about the pursuit of health and happiness via CrossFit. And I have here a pretty cool dude, I think. Again, you guys have heard me say it before, but CrossFit community is just stacked with really awesome people, in my opinion. And I'm here with Mr. Josh Card. He's a member at our North End location on the other side of town. And we were chatting, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago we were chatting, and I was like, hey, man, we should just put this conversation on hold and do it via podcast because I think it's fun. So first of all, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So give everybody a little bit of a little bit of your background. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. So I grew up playing sports. Dad got me into t-ball, played soccer, basketball. But I wasn't allowed to play football.
Any reason?
Yeah, just my mom was afraid I could hurt.
Yeah.
I was a pretty skinny kid,
Okay.
tall. So yeah, I just kind of gravitated towards basketball and swimming. So team sports, work out together. It's not a whole lot of working out by yourself. So
Yeah.
I never really learned how to do that. So I'd go to a gym or something like that. I'd be lost. But anyway, so
You never knew how to navigate the weight room.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and just sort of like, am I doing this right? You know. Plus, I was really, really skinny.
So you're pretty tall. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". And so what is so how tall were you in high school?
6'3".
Okay.
So I pretty much hit 15 or about 6'3".
Big boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So and
I
then
weighed
what
150 pounds.
Yeah, so that is skinny.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Rail.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I just want to get a little more context. Because a lot of people are like, I was skinny, and I'm like, it's not skinny. It's not.
I was so skinny that my wife said I wasn't cute. And she met me in high school. Not her problem.
Showed her.
Now look who's laughing.
Okay, cool. And then, so did you play basketball all the way through high school?
I did, yeah. And I was a practice player at the University of Tennessee.
That's when I got super pumped.
For the women's team.
Hey, bro. National champions.
Hey, got that ring.
So you were there, and Pat Summit was there.
Yes, I was.
We're gonna deviate right now because
Okay.
this is just my passion. So how was that? So tell me a little bit about Pat Summit.
Yeah, so Pat's a pretty intense individual. A lot of people always describe her with like, you ever get caught in her stare? You know, the answer is yes. She can make a grown man, dump his pants. Like,
Yeah.
Just extremely intense, demanded a whole lot by everyone, not only the players, but specifically the support staff. So not only was I a practice player, but I was also a manager. So I was able to travel with the team.
That's cool.
I ran their camps. I was on scholarship to do it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so that's actually why I have a national championship ring, because I was part of the team. So I was there when Candace Parker was there.
Yep.
So she's one of the best women of all
Probably
time.
of all time.
Yeah, she could dunk. Which there's more they could do now, but back then, no one.
Yeah, that was super.
And she
like
was
Lisa Leslie.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
She was listed at 6'3" also, which is
How tall is she actually?
She's like 6'6".
Really?
They lie. It's opposite. So like guys, they lie about how tall they are. They say
Yeah.
they're taller, but girls lie opposite. They say they're shorter. Yeah, because she was very.
Yeah, I was definitely 6 foot in the program, and I am not 6 foot.
Yeah.
I am a 5'11" and a quarter on my best day.
They had you put on those Shaquille O'Neal shoes with the big pumps.
So here's another. Yeah, I mean, why not? Well, here's another thing I always thought was funny was that they were like, yeah, well, how tall is he with his shoes on? And I'm like, who cares how tall he is with his bare feet unless he's playing barefoot? Like,
Exactly.
I want to know how tall he is with his damn shoes on.
Exactly.
Like, if he's 6'4" with his shoes on, well, then I gotta play a 6'4" guy. I just never understood that. Like, how tall is he with a barefoot? Like, who cares? Okay, so then, did you do that for 4 years?
No, I only did it for a year.
Okay.
I wanted to do other things in college and focus on school more and just be more of a normal student because I was, I'd have to be there 2 hours before every practice and stay like an hour after. And then they'd get there, like they'd get back from a game, they'd be like in Arkansas or Texas or something at like 3 in the morning, and I'd have to get up and go do it, and I'd have an 8 a.m. class. So it's just, and I wasn't making, I had scholarships, which was great, but I didn't get like a per diem. or anything like that. So I had zero money to do anything, and so I wanted to kind of do other things. And honestly, I would have rather played more than managed. So
Yeah, I think everybody would opt for that.
yeah,
But I think it's interesting that you gotta, and I'm sure at that level, I don't think most people have a very good understanding for what the Division I athlete schedule looks like. I think everybody's like, oh, you go to college and you get up and it's pretty brutal depending on the sport.
oh, it's a full-time job and some. Plus, you're expected to be a student. And the fact that you've got, I mean, women's basketball is a non-revenue sport.
Correct.
For the most, I think there
Not
was
at Tennessee.
Well, they broke,
Comparatively.
They broke even.
Yeah,
So like,
comparatively.
there were at the time, it was Texas, LSU, and Tennessee that had dual athletic departments. So they had a women's and a men's athletic department. So like the revenue generating sports is football and basketball, and then that put money in the coffers for everyone else.
That's at every level.
Yeah. So there was a lot of animosity between the two, and they would, I don't understand why I don't get these shoes, and the men's team gets these shoes, and just the bureaucracy of that. And,
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, at the
just
end
how
of the day,
it
it's
is.
a business,
Right.
I mean,
And that brings me full circle to, I think, that if an athlete is putting in that time, and they might not necessarily have insurance on their ACL or something. They tear it, they're hosed.
Yep.
So they've literally given their career to that university. They haven't even graduated yet. And then you've got coaches that are making millions of dollars.
and some of them, depending on the severity of the injury, might not get to keep that scholarship.
Right.
Depending
Not to
on the
mention,
school.
right, because actually most people don't know this, but scholarships are on a year-to-year basis.
Mm-hmm.
So in that situation, someone could take your place. And not to mention the revenue that you're going to miss out on, like playing professionally, do it overseas, locally. So
Overseas, you can make a nice check. I know quite a few guys that play overseas.
tax free.
Yeah, I know quite a few guys that played in Spain and Italy. Some leagues are better than others, but you could make a really nice living playing overseas.
Greece, I think, is the number one.
I know two guys that played in Greece.
Yeah. So there was actually a guy that played for the Atlanta Hawks probably about 10 years ago. It was like their sixth man. He got $6 million a year.
Yep.
He didn't sign with the Hawks, and then he played for Team Greece because he was Josh Childress or something from Stanford. But it is cool. But that being said, I think that but it kind of goes. You just open up a can.
That is, I definitely, I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
But I do think it is wild towards the university, towards the coaching staff, particularly if you look at retail sales for jerseys and stuff like that. Like I personally believe that if
They're making money off your name.
or your number, a lot of times they don't put the name on there for that particular reason. But your number, I mean, nobody's buying, a number 12 jersey if they don't like the number 12 player. The other, did Lamar Odom lawsuit? I think, because he basically sued over. I think he started with EA Sports because EA Sports was using athletes.
Yeah. Or likeness.
I mean, when you listen
On the cover, yeah.
and not just the cover. Like I played Division I basketball, and I tell you right now, if you go find NCAA 2004, there's a 5'11" white dude who plays for Navy that looks just like me.
99 overall.
Oh yeah. He is slightly below average in athletic skill and basketball capacity, but I mean it's definitely me. And I don't think people know that, but how many of those games did they sell?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I think there's definitely legitimacy to that because that job is not easy. I mean, that's a full-time job. It's a massive expectation from the players. They got to show up, they got to play, they got to perform. If you don't, you kick to the curb, man. Like real quick. Okay, cool. Did you like Pat son?
No.
Okay. I mean,
But that's just me. I mean,
just too intense.
she was just more like, I don't know. I think she felt like she could kind of do what she related however she wanted to her support staff, and she lost some people because of it. But she was also going through some personal stuff, and her health was actually starting to deteriorate at that point. So I don't feel like I got a good snapshot of who she really was.
I also think that like and this is a scary thing about like, any individual that sits in a seat like that for long enough, you almost become unaware of the amount of power that you wield on people or on the job site or something like that. Penn State, perfect example. Stuff like that. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm always curious of people's thoughts when they're around icons like that. So.
Yeah. Well, she was revered. I still have a lot of respect for her. I mean, she
it's
made
different
the
though.
women's game.
Yeah, 100%.
Personally, would I want to go hang out with her? No. But I mean, I still have a lot of respect for her.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for that's probably not what she was looking for.
Nope.
You probably don't win championships like that.
Yeah, she probably didn't want to hang out with you.
Dude, I'd hang out with you. Okay, so then, what year did you graduate from Tennessee?
2010.
Okay. All right, and then what happened from there? Where did you go from that?
So, 2010, I just kind of hit the ground trying to work. Organized sports, it came and went, so I didn't have any outlet. I didn't really know how to work out, so I kind of go there and try some things. And my dad actually had a back injury, so he was super worried about backs all the time. So I was nervous about squat. I didn't know how to squat.
Nobody does.
Yeah, I was really big on skipping leg day. That was all the time. Really skipping everything except for running. So I would try to run. No, I didn't. No. And I tried to swim too, but I grew up swimming the whole time, and I had PTSD from swimming. I smell chlorine, and I'm like, I get nauseous.
I think that's pretty common among swimmers, to be honest with you, because swimming might be one of the more brutal sports with regard to practice.
Oh my gosh.
Double days is standard, morning and evening.
Yep. And 2 hour practices, just in the water, and then you got sprint work, and then you got dry land.
5,000 meters
Easily.
It would take me 5 days.
Yeah. I mean, I literally could swim forever. I could just keep swimming, but, it was like the sprints and then like that sort of deal. I don't know. I think it takes just like one bad coach in formative years to just kind of put a bad taste in your mouth, and then if you don't love it, then
I had a similar experience. I mean, my dad's a basketball coach. I played for my dad in high school. I ate, slept, and breathed basketball. And I got to college. I went to a video prep school, and then I despised my college coach. So I went from a guy who literally had nothing else in his life to the day I graduated from college. I mean, I've probably picked up basketball 10 times since the day I graduated. I played 4 years in college, 10 times, and I don't miss it. And that's kind of sad. Sometimes I miss the thought of it, but when I put a basketball in my hands, I miss it. But I mean, I was burnt. I was burnt.
Yeah.
Both ends, man. And it was rough. He was not good, but yeah, learned a lot.
Everything happens for a reason, I guess.
So, okay. So you're trying to find something to do, and then so what is that? Because I feel like a lot of people go through that. They're like, I don't know what to do, and you just kind of bounce around. You're trying to figure stuff out. So what did that look like for you?
I mean, I think I'm very, very competitive. So it's pretty successful at basketball. I knew I didn't want to swim. I started getting recruiting letters, for swimming. And I didn't even return any.
Really?
No, I just had no desire to do it. I wanted to go to a bigger school. Well, I also realized that I wasn't going to do it. So I wanted to be the best, and then so I went to a big school and practiced there. And kind of once that came to an end, I would continue to play pickup. I was, understanding what an adult metabolism would be. You turned 21, you start introducing beer, cheese sticks, wings, happy hour, and then you start putting on the pounds. But I mean, I kind of stayed because I was so skinny. I didn't understand what healthy weight was. So I went from 155 as a freshman in college to like
Okay.
170, 175, which I'm like, okay, with my height, so I'm just going up, right?
Yeah, that's a healthy weight. I mean,
But not muscle, but I mean, I was like, I'm glad I'm just not a rail.
you don't look like you need a sandwich.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not the first comment that a girl would say to me. So, you know, I kind of went through that, and then, you know, by the time I was a senior, I was probably like 185, 190.
Okay.
This height, you know, it's okay. I'm not super concerned, but again, I'm pretty sedentary. I'm losing a lot of my athleticism. You know, I can't dunk anymore. Like, my back is kind of hurting me.
So did you train, or were you trying to train all the way through college, or after freshman year you're kind of like, yeah, I'll come back to it?
I mean, I wasn't playing pickup near as much, and that was like a big deal. But I mean, I was working. Still work for the athletic department. I work for facilities, and we were doing a lot of physical labor. You know, building locker rooms and setting up bleachers and stuff. So I mean, I was still moving around. I just didn't really understand.
You're active. You're not like
Yeah, no, I'm not just playing Xbox.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Or PlayStation 2.
But not actively. You're not like you don't have like a routine that you're doing every day.
Right.
You're not
No.
lifting weights. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and honestly, I wish that I did, because that has added just as an adult so much to my life. Just having that repetition, that control over my life, it just kind of gives me a model in which to attack my work, or being a parent, or you name it. And I was just unorganized, and I don't know, just trying to figure out life. But
I don't think that's weird though. In college, at least.
probably not.
I think a lot of people leave, home and that structure, and that's all they want. They don't want to do anything unless you get jammed into a sport or something like that, where like there are outside demands of you that like you need to get at 5 because we have a training session and you have a class and you have a lunchtime training session and we are in the afternoon for another training session. So yeah, I don't think that's abnormal at all. I probably would have opted for that. I was a pretty active guy, but I would have definitely
I do not have that.
yeah, definitely would have. I definitely did not choose the sleeping all day route. Okay, so then after college, where do you go? What happens?
So I mean, I got into sales. I did
What's your degree in?
sport management.
Oh, cool.
Business minor. So graduated 2010, like at the height of the recession at the time. So only jobs I could
Not
get.
the best time to be in sales.
No. So I got into I waited tables at Cracker Barrel. I took a job with Aflac selling supplemental insurance. I was cold calling, just marching down the street, knocking on doors. So again, like I'm active, like I'm walking around. It's okay. Like,
Do you think you were able to do that? Because I don't think there's a lot of people that can do that job. But do you think you were able to do that job because you have a competitive nature?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just like I don't know, just like have this internal monologue. It's like you can do a better job. Like you can do one more, and just kind of like pushing myself. And even if I do accomplish something, I'm kind of like that wasn't good enough. So like I just keep trying to do it.
I think that's a healthy mindset within reason.
Right.
I think it takes a while. It takes probably age and maturity before you learn to bring that and put perspective and frame it correctly. But in your younger years, I think it's probably one of the better mindsets you can have.
Sure. Yes, usually it's not in my mom's voice.
Yeah.
I still hear it sometimes.
It's not good enough. That's great. Okay, so you're doing medical sales. How long are you doing that for?
I've done medical sales, so I could
Since then.
Well, I had a brief stint in the mortgage industry, which
Okay.
was a desk job, sitting there. That kind of took the sedentary. I'm like, I gotta start doing stuff, and like at the time, like I got engaged to my wife, and then I'm trying to like work out, get some sort of deal going. So I'm doing like the elliptical machine, like a madman during lunch break.
Okay.
Still didn't know how to lift weights, do push-ups, couldn't do a pull-up. There was a personal trainer there that like had me start doing some walking lunges and stuff, and I realized like, man, my legs are really like that. And I don't like it, and it hurts. So that's not it. I'm just gonna keep doing it because to me, I felt like it was more important to be thin than to be strong. So paying more attention to the number of versus just overall health. And so super focused on that, not so much on strength.
And then what's your weight look like at this point? Still around that 185 right now?
Now?
No, at that time.
Oh,
You're kind of more gain,
I got up.
the goal.
Yeah, so I was like actually up to about 200. So I was
Still not heavy for that frame.
24, 23, 24. You see the trend. It's like going up. And I went and got a physical right before I got married. My doctor was like, I don't like this trend. You need to
Was there something else besides the weight that it didn't like?
just the numbers, like how I was hitting it.
I find that interesting.
Yeah, but it was also like body composition. So
That's what I find. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
yeah, it wasn't. The numbers is what kind of tipped the scale. But he's like, if you got this stuff going on your sides there, that's how you get diabetes and like family history and da 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 da.
Is that something you have in your family?
My grandmother's like borderline diabetic, but I think that's just from not being.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a family history. Well, that's cool that your doctor brought that up.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of doctors, especially, so this is probably 2012-ish.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Probably 2012. And again, I'm like, okay, like I'm a big guy. Like you're not taking into account muscle mass, which I had zero muscle, but it was just I was thinking I'm pretty strong.
I'm measuring all the muscle that I don't have.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like, all right, well, I'm just gonna hit this and do cardio, and I didn't understand the just kind of eat whatever.
So what did that look like? What's your eating like at this point?
Yeah. So just like high fat, bottom
Really?
beer and carbs, so like fast food, like Chick-fil-A.
Got it.
Something quick.
Like saturated fat.
Yeah, something quick. It's not healthy fats. Just something quick because like I'm getting up, I'm going, I'm working, and then I'm coming back, I'm tired, and then I'm cooking. I live in a house with 3 other guys, and then oh yeah, like my roommate would save coupons from Hardee's, and like he'd go get like 3 hamburgers and eat 1.5, and just live your best life.
So, and are you still living in Tennessee at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Do they have crystal ball in Tennessee?
yeah, actually, my wife went down there a couple weeks ago, and she sent me a picture of crystals, like in her hands. Like
We on the regular would go there
Get a sack
at
full?
2 a.m. Yeah, was it a sack full or is it called a steamer? It's a big box that had like 24.
that's like even above and beyond.
It
the
had
sack
like
full.
24 crystal burgers in it, and I would have hammered.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Without it.
Melts in your mouth.
Oh,
I'm gonna go get one.
not the healthiest.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be normal. That would probably be something I'd do.
Okay.
So just like not getting enough sleep, like eating like that, and then just kind of being. I obviously didn't know anything. I would say probably pridefulness played into it a little bit too, because I wasn't getting help and asking, but it's like, oh, I got this. Like, I'm just gonna be active.
Yeah, I'll start running.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So So you're living in Tennessee, you're doing that, and then what is that time frame when you guys transition and start moving, and you guys move north, and what brings you to Virginia Beach?
So we moved to Virginia Beach because my wife's family was here, and so my
Okay.
mother-in-law was in school, and we moved up here. I was like, I haven't done anything else. I'm not in love with my collections job at this mortgage company. Find something else to do. So we moved up here, and I got into medical sales again.
Okay.
That's like my second stint.
Good.
Yep. So we're up here.
And that's what you're
2012, 2013. So I started that mortgage job in 2011. Got married July 2012, and then was up here.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and I was around 2 to 205 at the time.
Okay. And then when you get here, you take another medical sales job, and does that trend continue as far as like weight gain and stuff?
So I'm really tired. Like that job was just like an emotional adjustment. So it's like not only was I tired from just getting up and being up at 7 in the morning, working a long day, but like I was emotionally tired from just adjusting and trying to carve out a new career because it's sales, you know. Yeah. So, and not to mention, like, the schedule's whack because you have trauma call and stuff like that. So
I did not understand how all over the place that job is, but I now have quite a few friends in medical sales, and it sounds brutal.
Yeah. It's definitely, you got to put in your, you got to put in the work at the beginning just to get experience. Like, that's the biggest thing, and you can leverage that to take better positions.
Yeah, and relationships is my understanding.
Yeah, you got to have your relationship
with the doctors, with the surgeons. All
that's your leverage too. So yeah, I definitely put in my time. I think the burnout rate is usually a year. People go,
So sure.
they go into other things.
I'd be curious to like what percentage of people that stay in have some sort of competitive athletic background.
I would say 80 to 90%.
It's got to be pretty high.
Yeah.
I don't think you could survive in the levels if you weren't used to that. Like if you weren't used to losing, I think you'd have a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, just in Hampton Roads, I mean, there's several like high Division I football players that have medical device jobs.
We have one here. Jared played football at West Virginia and had a short stint with the Panthers.
Yep.
So he's the same way. Just like so, and then you find CrossFit about around what time frame?
So, you know, I was still trying to play pickup basketball occasionally.
And then are you playing locally around here?
Yeah, it's like a rec center.
Okay.
So I would do that. Definitely having to change my game up because like the extra weight is harder on my joints and not very strong.
Are you still about 205 at this point?
Yeah, probably so. But just not running, so just kind of out of shape. Not in basketball shape, so passing the ball more, doing more layups, not doing as much explosive stuff. Which is again another kind of kick to the pride, because like you know what you used to be and like how you kind of picture yourself. You look in the mirror and it's just different. You kind of reason, oh, I'm just getting older.
I think of everything that I've lost, I've probably lost the ability to jump.
Yeah. I lost that very fast.
Something had to do with my Achilles, but a lot of it's just like it's a perishable skill. If you don't jump, you stop being good at jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then so I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Okay, so what's your kind of journey into like discovering CrossFit?
Yeah, so my wife was working out a lot just on her own, just conventionally, you know, at the gym, and you know, seeing a lot of results and doing well. Her metabolism's a lot better than mine. So she was doing good, and then she's like, you know, you'd feel a lot better if you'd start working out. I was like, oh, I can't, you know, I work too much. There's always an excuse, or like my back hurts. You know, I've got ruptured disc, which I did. You know, just kind of excuses, and then I got out there and started trying to run again because it's like the only thing that I know. I'm not confident in doing the gym, but lifting stuff. And I had a buddy that actually works out. That was working actually that came into CrossFit, and he was really good at conventionally working out. So I worked out with him a couple times, but he's way stronger than me, and it was just kind of humiliating.
Got it.
So I kind of go back to running, and then like my wife gets pregnant. So at this point,
I think when you got her pregnant, I don't think she like gets pregnant. I think that's how it works.
Yes, I take credit for that. I did a great job. It's really hard. At the hard part, it's going to kill me. But yeah, so I got my wife pregnant, and so as she kind of transitions into pregnancy, so do I. And
so, I laugh, but like that's kind of a common thing.
Oh yeah. So dealing with like the stress of that and like the expectations and sort of deal, like vent and kind of have venting time. So I'd hang out with a buddy who's actually the coach at North End.
Okay.
And we would drink a copious amount of beers and eat cheese sticks late at night. And we just got yeah. So I went from like 205 to 215 to 225 really quick. So when my daughter was born, I was around 225 to 230. So I had really jumped, like I made like a 20-pound jump like in a year.
That's a lot of weight.
Yes, yeah. So the heaviest I got was close to 240. And I was like, And my excuse was my back, And so like my same friend that I was doing that with had gotten into CrossFit. So he was doing it at North End, and then he was like, man, you really should like just come try it. So it was like always like a price, like I can't afford it, I'm seeing this, and I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll just come do a class. I'll come do a class. So I went to a class on a Saturday, and they asked me, do you have any experience working out at all? I'm like, yeah, I used to play basketball. Like, look at me, I look, a unit. So she's like, all right, well, let's do like 10 air squats, let's go. And I couldn't even do an air squat. Like my hip mobility was so bad.
Really?
Couldn't touch the ball. No, she put a medicine ball underneath me.
Okay.
So I tried to do it, and like after those 10, I was smoked. Like my legs were on fire. And then like I did the workout, everything was incredibly modded. Like my goal was to do one pull-up. Like that was a goal after like several months. Like I just want to do one pull-up.
After several months of doing CrossFit.
Yeah, like I was just trying to get to that point, but it was just like, and to me, like I'm dealing with the shame. Like you really just have to like check it at the door.
So I'm interested to talk about that because I think everybody's story is unique, but I think that story is very common, right? If you just remove Josh out of it and put the other people in there. So I don't even know if you remember this, but if you do, how did you get past those two objections that you stated? Right, you're like, hey, I don't have time, and this costs too much. And then is that like do you shame yourself into that, or do you get competitive again about it?
Yeah. So honestly, the way that I looked at it was, I'm gaining X amount of weight every single year. By the time I'm 40 years old, I've got a brand new kid. By the time I'm 35, 40, if I continue this trend, I'm going to be 300 pounds. And I'm not going to be able to play with my kids. Like they're going to have, self-esteem issues. I have self-esteem issues. Like I'm not going to be the best dad that I can be. And I got to sacrifice somewhere else to make this happen because I'm at a point now where I've got to do something. Like I don't know what it was, but something in me just clicked. Like I've got to do something to get this. And like I can't do it on my own. I need something. I think like, okay, when was I in my best shape? It was when I was part of a team, when I had a coach, it's when I had community, and I gotta try it. I'm just gonna go do it. And I went, and like the first 2 weeks, I felt like a train. Like I was absolutely just. I had friends telling me like, you can get through that. It works. So I just made myself go. Like, I think I went like 5 or 6 times in the first week, and then I got through the soreness, but it's just like setting little goals, like individually, every single practice, just to get through. Just so I was competing with myself because there was a tendency to be like, well, he's doing chest to bar pull-ups, or he's doing pull-ups easily, or he can do this Olympic lift, and she's doing more weight than me. But like everyone's story is different. Like I'm where I'm at. And I got to beat myself first before I can beat other people. So my first goal was like, do 10 pounds under like women's prescribed. Okay. That was like my goal. So I tried to do it and try to finish the workouts. And sometimes I could do it, sometimes I couldn't. Then it was like do women's prescribed. And then it was like do 10 pounds more than that. And then I got to where I could start doing some like men's prescribed.
Yep.
Some, I still can't do it all the time now. But I mean, it's just kind of like gradually setting those goals
Smaller
for you.
goals.
Yeah, and like quit looking at Waterfly so much and continuing.
I think that's as much as I can appreciate the software, and it's a double-edged sword, just like everything else. I think you had an advantage because you were an athlete, so you kind of knew that at some point I have to turn this and make this a little bit more introspective. But I would disagree with anybody who says that external motivation isn't beneficial.
Oh yeah.
It can be negative as well, but it's always interesting because I think some people would have, when you're telling us about that realization that you have, I think some people would have a feeling of probably one or two feelings, either fear or anger, or maybe some combination of the two. And I think a lot of it has to do with their background. A lot of people who switch to anger, that's the people that are like competitive. They're like, I'm beating myself. And it's the easiest battle to win. Like it's just me. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. And I think it's cool that you know, now hearing the story, I think it's cool that you chose like going 10 pounds under women's weight. Like that's a big piece of humble pie, man.
Oh yeah. How about doing an air squat?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think I'd squatted hip crease below parallel like one time in my life when I first walked in here. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like no one knows how to squat.
Yeah.
No one knows how to do these things. So they watch like the games on TV. You're like, oh, CrossFit. And I work with orthopedic surgeons all the time, and they're like, oh, I love CrossFit because it just brings in patients to me.
Oh God.
You know, and I'm like, okay, but like really, what it boils down to is like people hurt themselves because they're doing things that they don't know how to do, and the coaches aren't watching them and helping them do it.
I think you're the second person that's brought that up. Maybe I brought it up last time, but like, let's just hear it. There is no orthopedic surgeon who is like paying their mortgage with injured CrossFitters. Like that's just not a thing. Like I'm just gonna call bullshit on that. People get hurt. It's like anything else. Like it is rare. I mean, I've been doing this 10 years, and the number of injuries we have in 10 years is not a whole lot.
Yeah, but I think that's also a testament to you and your staff, that you have people that are paying attention and making sure that they're not going too
Well, I
heavy.
don't know, because we were not good at it for a while. Like, you know, I think it's a testament to that CrossFit is safe. I mean, like, it wouldn't be growing at the pace that it's growing. People wouldn't be participating at the rate that they are if it was wildly injurious. Like it just would not happen.
Right.
And I think a couple of studies, the divorce study, that was proven wrong. But I think it's one of the biggest things that holds people back. They're like, I'm going to get injured because I have to do that. But
Okay, first off, you're not coming in and you're not going to squat
no.
or overhead squat 250 pounds.
You might not overhead squat a PVC pipe.
No.
And that's okay.
Right. Yeah, because you're limited to your mobility and all that sort of deal. So if you get up and swing from the bar like a madman, I mean, maybe you rip your rotator cuff, but
It's
you
not
gotta-
recommended.
you got to, yeah. I mean, you're going to look like an idiot.
So, how long are you doing CrossFit before you start to get some level of comfort with it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not like comfortable all the time, just depending on like what the movement is.
Well, so let me rephrase that. Meaning, like
the format and like.
yeah, before you're comfortable coming into the gym.
Oh, that was pretty quick because I mean, again, the community is such a big part of CrossFit. I think that sets it apart from any other fitness. Is that like you're in there, you get to know, you go to the same class, you're with the same people, and they encourage you, and you really get a friendship with them, and they cheer you on, and like your victories are their victories, and vice versa. And to me, that was like instantaneous.
That's super
Yeah,
cool, man.
I mean, I made friends like that became like my social life, but still is.
It's like being on a team.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like having played team sports my entire life, football, basketball, baseball. I mean, it is the closest you can get back to being on the team. You know, like that. You have the same locker room banter. You have the same kind of healthy competitiveness, I think, in most cases. And everybody there genuinely wants you to do well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one's in there cheering against you.
Never.
You don't know it.
Never. But even if they are, I don't think it, I think they're just hoping that they would beat you. I don't necessarily think it's like cheering against you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's
Okay. So, was it the well, I guess was it the combination? Was it the coaching staff? Was it the people? Was it a combination of those two?
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely, we would have socials. The coaches were very personal, like not only from like a business standpoint, but also just like we would get drinks together. Like we would meet each other and like where we're at in our lives and talk about it, and it really becomes like a family.
It's definitely to some degree like a modern day church. In a lot of respects.
Yeah, for sure.
What is there something as you're kind of entering CrossFit, because I think a lot of people have like their own demon that they're battling. Like, what was there something in particular at CrossFit you're like it's that hurdle that you're just like, I hate that thing and I'm going to conquer it?
It's a good question.
or the reverse of that, something that just like really gives you a lot of anxiety within CrossFit, either movement or workout or something like that.
I mean, like I'm like a huge head case when it comes to working out. So like I would swim the 200 IM, right?
Okay.
And after every single race, I would throw up. Period. Like every single time I would swim the 200 IM, I'd puke, and it'd be like 10, 15 minutes after the race because I was like so amped up about it. So because I would think it would be like worse in my mind. So the thing that I like about CrossFit the most, and it's still like my biggest battle and something that I really struggle with, is just the mental aspect of like, I can do this because I know my body can do it, but I mentally wouldn't do it. So it's just like a long, 5 rounds of this, second round, you're like, I'm dying right now. Like, I can't finish this. They're just picking up, doing one more movement, and just like the sense of accomplishment that you have when you actually do finish it, and you're like laying on the ground, maybe can't move the rest of the day, but like, it's just like, not only did I physically beat it, but I mentally beat it. And that's almost like more meaningful to me. Like CrossFit has helped me become mentally stronger, not only physically stronger, but like way more mentally stronger about how I do everything. And I guess like anytime I'll hit a workout or something and I can't quite get through it, and I just feel like kind of mentally defeated, but I can always pick it up the next day and just try to do it again and regain my confidence. So I think it's that continued yo-yo balance of just growing mentally.
Have you found that has exceeded the boundaries of the gym? Like, have you carried a lot of that outside into the workplace and that stuff?
For sure.
I would imagine that would help you in a very competitive environment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know I can do this. My tendency is to think that I can't, but I can do it. I'm gonna figure it out.
I think you're right. I think there is a very underappreciated skill set of learning to do the next rep and only the next rep, and then renegotiate that scenario over and over and over, not only in the gym, but just in real life, and how valuable that is.
Because I don't know what's heavier, like the barbell or the thought of doing it 10 more times.
Probably the thought.
Yeah.
I
think so. For me,
I think that's really cool. I just don't think people appreciate that. People that have not done it don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you don't do stuff that hard. Unless somebody else is like, hey, I made up this workout. It's really terrible. You should try it.
I think most people just don't realize that there's modifications for everything. Everything. Like, you don't have to come in and like I said, overhead squat or do double unders. I mean, come in and do like air squats. Like and coaches are good at like modeling that for you, where you can gain confidence and figure it out, because this is baby steps. It's a journey.
And that is what I think I would want more people to take away from, is that, again, it's going to sound cultish, but it's not a workout. It's a lifestyle. And if you do it wrong, it's not a sustainable lifestyle.
Right. It's not a fad. It's not like a fad diet. No, it's something that you got to put in the time and do it and develop a mental mind for it. And then you got that support group. It's right there with you going through it. And I can't imagine my life without it. Like what it's done for me.
Yeah. To the choir, man.
Right.
I have no idea what we do.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean from a fitness aspect. I mean just like the relationships that we've garnered over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's super cool. So how long have you been in CrossFit at this point? For a while.
Yes, I started in probably 2015.
Okay, so you're not new.
Maybe late 2014.
Okay. For 4 years.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years.
Makes you not a newbie.
Okay.
And then, what does that evolution look like for you over 4 years?
I mean, I guess probably like what I'm most proud of is just the way that I view myself, like mentally. Just like knowing that I can get through it, that I can figure it out, it's taught me humility. I check it before because I'm not naturally gifted at CrossFit. Like I was naturally gifted at swimming. I'm naturally gifted at basketball.
It didn't come easy.
It did not come easy. Some I had to like work really hard for it. I mean, some workouts are in my wheelhouse and I can kick people's butts at it, but most of the time, people are kicking my butt still, and it just becomes like a battle for me. So I'm like working on PRs and really with time, and, trying to get better times than the Hero was and Murph and that sort of deal. So I mean that's just sort of where I'm at. But I mean it's just like a physical fitness. So it's like I've always been thin, or then I went from really thin to fat, and then never really muscular. So I lost. So I've had like 2 stints of CrossFit because I actually got injured like in between from a pre-existing thing that I had. Aggravated, I had to deal with it. So I gained some weight back. I lost it so fast. Gained some back, and then I started whittling away. So it took a little bit longer to lose it the second time.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah. So I was able to cut that down, but then I really started trying to formulate like, okay, I'm working out really hard. I might as well take it to the next level and start eating right. So I did RP strength, for a little bit. Just to kind of cut off the rest of that. So like, okay, I'm like at a weight where I'd like to be. Now I'm gonna look at like, cutting more fat and like. I mean, I don't know how bad I want it because I do like beer a whole lot, but I'd like to have a 6-pack at some point, which I don't know. That's like the goal, but I do like beer a lot. And
I mean, you can do it. I think there is Joe Rogan's had some super interesting podcasts over the past 2 weeks. A lot of which have had to do with nutrition. A lot of which have been debates, but there's been some interesting topics brought up on there. A lot of them were talking about compliance. Some of them talking about, people that have, dedication to stick with it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think what's missed in that whole process of dieting, I don't even like to use the word, is being critical about the process. So I think there's one major thing that most people go into a diet with, and that's they have a preconceived expectation about what the result is going to be, rather than just learning something.
Right.
And I don't believe that there's one particular diet. I think there's some very common themes that people should abide by. But outside of that, the requirements and the results are going to change as your life changes, as your activity level changes, as the stresses in your life change, as food changes. And I think as long as people are bought into just learning something and involving their knowledge of food and their own body, they can get there. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to do this and the goal is to lose 20 pounds, I think that's probably a losing scenario for most people. You might lose 20 pounds.
But it might
temporarily.
It might be a good loss.
Temporarily.
Right.
Yeah, you might do it unhealthily. You might not keep it off. You might not get there, and now you've failed, in air quotes, because you didn't get there. So I definitely think there needs to be a little bit of a mental health check in that whole thing. I think there's a healthy way to approach it. I think there's an unhealthy way to approach it. I think if we can remove a little bit of the expectation and dial in, hey, the point is to learn something about myself, what I can tolerate, what I like, what I don't like, what I do well at, what I suck at. Acknowledge those things and then refine it. I think everybody crushes it.
Oh yeah, I think it's just becoming in love with the process of learning new things and being healthy. It's a lifestyle and a mindset.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, I think allowing yourself to be in love with the process, you have to remove the expectation of the result.
Yeah, because we live in an instant gratification society, and you just gotta buck that.
Get it out.
Yep.
Gotta learn something every day. Today I'm gonna learn something. I'm gonna try to check a box, and if I don't, it's fine. I'll recalibrate and I'll move on to tomorrow.
Right. Don't get lost.
You've addressed a couple things so far, but what do you think is the biggest hold back for gyms? This is a 2-part question. What do you think is people's biggest hold up from going into a CrossFit gym? And then what do you think CrossFit gyms are doing poorly to get people in the gym?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's just a lot of stereotypes that are involved with CrossFit. You know, it's like, oh, it's a cult. We're like only CrossFit people can only talk about CrossFit. Or
There's a lot of truth.
yeah, I mean, try it. You know, then just see what you talk about. Then there's like, you know, from a medical standpoint, you got things that are like, no, don't do it. It's bad. Go do this. I think there was something that was put out like bad exercises for people over 50. And it's like,
Yes.
don't do pull-ups.
That was
don't
like
do-
the most negligent reporting I've ever
Yeah.
seen in my life.
Right. And
It's
I
like,
mean,
don't sit down, don't ever pick anything up, and don't ever put your hands on your head.
how about, first off, how about telling people what they can do? You know,
Yeah.
like, why are you, you know, the first thing, I don't know, like, I have basically a 4-year-old, like, I tell her she can't do something, she's going to try to do it.
Of course.
You know, I mean, just like a rabbit trail, but I just thought that was weird how that was phrased. But I think, I don't know, probably like from the medical standpoint, people saying that.
I think so. My biggest the thing that I'm always trying to navigate there, or my biggest, I don't say beef with it, but maybe it is beef, is that generally that guidance is coming from somebody who is not educated on CrossFit or has never done it.
Right. And I think, I mean, the inability to relate, because I think you kind of hit on it, like, people start and they have like this end goal in mind and that's what they want. They look at, you know, TV and see these games athletes or people that CrossFit and they have this idea in their mind of what a person looks like that does it.
Yeah.
Like they're picturing like, you know, Brooke Wells or, you know, Ben Smith. They're not picturing me at 240, like walking in there trying to do an air squat and touching the ball. Like,
And you know, and maybe that's the problem, is that gyms in general, us included, have not done a good job of saying like, hey, like the vast majority of people in the CrossFit gym are just like with no athletic background, are
Right.
not freaks of nature, you know, didn't win the genetic lottery.
Right.
You know, they're just
what is it? Is it like Planet Fitness? It's like the judgment-free zone. Is that what their campaign slogan is?
Is it?
You know, you got guys over there just doing some curls and be nervous to go over there and pick up a dumbbell.
But I feel like CrossFit gym, you know, and I'm obviously biased, but I feel like it's probably one of the most judgment-free places and environments you could ever walk into.
Absolutely. Some of the movements are just so complex. Everyone's struggling to try to figure out.
It's hard,
Yeah.
you know, but I don't. It's that, you know, I've never been into a CrossFit gym where people were mean to other people or they made fun of somebody because they couldn't do something. Because everybody, and I think the reason for that is because everybody's been last. Everybody couldn't do something at some time. Everybody's failed. And if you do that, you're just a real big turd.
Yeah.
Just like, and nobody's gonna do that because
Yeah.
the community would put that person in check.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good point you brought up too, because like, you know, I'm originally from Knoxville, so I go back. I've worked out at like 3 or 4 different gyms there when I go back, and you know, I like all of them, but I don't really kind of piece together which ones I like more and kind of fits my style. But like, I can say across the board, they've all been extremely nice, extremely accepting.
Yeah, they still got their own little flavor.
Yeah, but that's like anywhere you go, you know, for the most part. I've not had
It's any workplace, any school,
Yeah.
any whatever. I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. Anything else cool about you that we don't know, that we should know? Super skills?
Yeah.
What is it? Fill us in.
I can become invisible sometimes.
That's amazing.
I'm just kidding.
I think it just happens.
Yep. Sometimes I feel invisible when I'm at home and no one's acknowledging me.
I mean, that would be great.
Hello, I'm Dad. My daughter just runs right past me. Mommy.
Oh, my daughter does that too. She just literally will just not acknowledge me on purpose. For a while, my wife was like, I think your human is bad. I was like, she is just sucks. So is the dog. Okay, cool. So I got a couple of questions, and then I'll let you ask me the questions you want. Do you read or listen to podcasts or anything?
Yeah.
reading or listening to anything interesting currently?
Yeah, so I'm actually listening to this podcast called Dr. Death.
Okay.
So because I'm in, obviously in the medical field, it's about this neurosurgeon that actually graduated from the University of Tennessee, ironically, medical school, was practicing in Baylor in Texas,
Okay.
in Dallas, and basically he was able to kind of finagle his way through medical school through his fellowship, become a neurosurgeon, and was completely incompetent to operate on people. I think he operated on like 30 different people. 2 of them died. He made quadriplegics of several of them.
What?
Yeah, completely, complete negligence, but like the whole system failed. The hospital failed. The fellowship failed. And it just kind of that's right in my wheelhouse. Cause
Wait, so what is the podcast about?
It's about this doctor and the story.
But it's his podcast.
No, it's not. It's about him.
I was like, oh my
No.
God.
He's in jail.
Okay.
He's
All right.
serving a
That
life
makes me
sentence.
feel a lot better.
Yes, but it opens your eyes, and I always tell my friends this too. Like, if they have to go to a doctor for anything, like orthopedic, I'm like, please talk to me first, because it's not it's not like equal skill set across the board. It's just like anything that you do.
Just like any CrossFit gym.
Yeah, very. So I'm listening to that. Like, that's really interesting. I just started it.
Is it like a one-time series, like 10?
It's like 6 episodes, and I think there's other ones that she does, but it's just about that particular. Yeah, it was eye-opening, for sure. So that's cool. What else? College football, sports. I'm into.
I had a rough weekend. LSU and Navy both lost.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
try
lost to
being
Air Force.
a Tennessee fan.
Maybe right. I feel better. LSU only has 1 loss.
We have a saying, it feels like 98. That's the last time we did anything.
Well, you could always be Florida State.
That's true.
Did you see that game? Dude,
No.
I was like, oh, they're gonna win one. They were up 28-7.
Coughed it
They
up.
lost. Coughed it up bad. I was like, ooh, I think he will not make the end of the season. All right, cool. Question today. You get to ask me whatever you want.
Okay. Man, on the spot. What got you into CrossFit?
It's not a super awesome story or anything like that. My wife found it.
Mm-hmm.
We both played college athletics. I played basketball. She played volleyball and softball. We graduated college. I went to the Naval Academy. She went to the Merchant Marine Academy, which is upstate New York. And we both ended up getting commissioned in the Navy. Ended up here. I was kind of doing the, meathead thing at this point because
C4 explosive?
lots of and animal packs.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those? Yeah.
Snort that, John.
Dude, got like an irregular heartbeat for a while. It was bad. But I had done, we'll call it. I haven't been doing CrossFit, but I had done a lot of Olympic lifting, a lot of functional training. I was very fortunate to have really good strength coaches coming up through high school and in college. And so I was really kind of over it at that point. And I was like, I just want massive biceps, 6-pack, and shoulders.
Right.
So I did that for probably like 2 years, no joke. That's all I did. Slap the headphones on, go in there, dumbbells, bench press.
So how big around were your calves? That's like my next question.
I used to have great calves.
Oh, yeah?
Now I have like 1.5 moderately good calves. I ruptured Achilles and now I have like a stick for my left leg. But but I was done with the legs because that's all we did in college. We squatted until our eyes bled in college, and so we did tons of squatting, tons of sprinting, tons of jumping. So I was done. I was like, I don't want to do any more of that. Like, I'm good. And I don't remember what it was. We weren't married at the time. She's like, hey, I found this thing in CrossFit. Let's go try it out. We walked into Pat Sherwood's gym, and he was CrossFit Media now, works for CrossFit Health. And the workout was GT, total of 15-9. That's in push-ups, bringing hips and push-ups. It took me 37 minutes. Woefully terrible time.
I think that we just did that on Saturday.
We did do it on Saturday, yep. And I was hooked. I was like, I was at that point where I was kind of like in a weird weird spot where I didn't know what to do anymore. I was like, I like beer.
Yeah.
I like to eat nothing.
Cheese sticks.
And man, I got crushed. And I'd gone through a little weight gain point there too. So this was 2008. Right out of the Naval Academy, I got commissioned in the supply corps, and I spent 4 years trying to lie transfer to go to spec corps because I didn't want to be in the supply corps. I was medically disqualified because I was colorblind. Cheated on the colorblind test, got my physical passed, and then basically I was trying to get from one community to the other. So I was training. I wasn't doing CrossFit, but I was swimming, doing push-ups, pull-ups, running, carrying stuff all over the place. And then 2007, I believe, I got the final no. Like they would not let you cross to come over and try out essentially. And I went into like a drinking and eating binge, and I went from about walking around weights anywhere between 185 and 190, and I shot up to about 212.
Nice.
And it was not. And
Pure man.
yeah, I remember my buddy Mike Lowry. His mom saw a picture of me. She's like, "Who is that?" And like we're best friends. And he's like, "That's Jason." She's like, "He's fat." And I was like, "Oh, I gotta fix this." So I don't know like what that time frame looked like, but that was definitely a factor. But I was kind of like you. I went in there, got crushed, and I was like, "This is it, man.
Yeah.
Like I am not going to be that bad at anything."
Right.
And yeah, now I'm here. It's been a crazy 10 years, but that was it, man. It hasn't all been good, but it's been mostly good.
Yeah.
Mostly fun and mostly great.
The best things in life are like that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely had its ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade any other thing for it. It's, like I said before, the relationships, the people I've met, not even necessarily all the deep relationships, just some of the, in passing encounters are pretty good. So, and I get to sit down and chat with cool people like you. So there's worse jobs. If you last month, I'm going to be like,
Hey,
there's worse jobs.
it's great. Well,
Yeah, that's it.
to your thing that you said about like your friend's mom telling you, so I forgot this story. So we were at a Christmas party at our church, and actually got fat shamed at this Christmas party. So there's this guy, and I had long hair, I could put that thing in a man bun.
That is long.
That was long,
Okay.
and a beard, like a big beard, bigger than now, and they were talking about like who was going to be Jesus at church, and they're like, "Oh, Josh could be Jesus, but then he'd have to take his shirt off, and he's fluffy." So I actually thanked the guy that said it, and I was like, "You don't realize this?"
Changed my life, bro.
I got in the car.
I couldn't be
I got in
Jesus.
the car, and my wife was like, "What's wrong?" I was like,
Can't be Jesus.
"I'm not fluffy," which I totally was. But
Can't be Jesus.
yeah, see, I was striving to be
I'll
like.
show him. He will call me Jesus.
What would Jesus do?
Yeah, right. Cool, man. Thanks for your time, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, dude. This has been fun. And guys, if you have questions for Josh, if you have questions for us, if you want to follow us on any of our social media handles, it's CrossFit RIfe everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, CrossFitRife.com. If you have questions about anything, hit us up. We'd be more than happy to chat with you. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Sweet.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was fantastic, dude.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. It's easy with people that can talk.
I've been called the social lubricant.
Bro.
I don't
think people understand that.
I call myself that.
It's all right. I don't think people understand that. People are like,